All right, so in this video, I'm gonna show you guys exactly how I changed the trajectory of my life in 6 months without relying on luck at all, okay? If you're watching this video and maybe you're working a 9 to 5 or you're in college or you're gonna go to college and you just don't wanna do that and you wanna live a top 1% lifestyle or at least be on the road to doing that and you just don't know where to start, watch this video. I promise you it'll help you, okay? So like I said, over the past 6 months, I've done these things, okay? I quit my 9 to 5. I dropped out of college. It's kind of crazy. And I started my first business. I've actually, technically started two. I now run a marketing agency, which I can confidently say, will hit its first 10K month by the end of 2024, which feels unreal to say. But yeah, and by the way, this is to point out that I'm not some guru making $100,000 a month who's just yapping or trying to get you to buy my course. I have nothing to sell you in this video. Okay, I have nothing to sell you. I just know my life has changed in the past 6 months. And this is, if 6 months ago, this is a video I would want to watch to help me do these things and be on the road to, living the life I truly want to live. Okay, so if this is you, if you can relate to any of these, or you want to start a business, or you want to drop out, or any of that, watch the rest of this video. I promise you, it'll help you a lot. So I think everybody knows the way you change your life, okay, to change your life, you need to, you really need to unlock financial freedom, okay? And the only way to unlock financial freedom is really by starting a business or owning equity in a company, right? You could go the investing route, but that's a whole separate thing. I don't have experience with that, so that's not what I'm here to talk about. But yeah, I think everybody knows they need to start a business. They just don't know how. And it's because the reason, they never start is because they still believe in one thing. They still believe in luck, okay? And there's a lot of misconceptions about luck. People think there's only one type of luck, which isn't true. And I don't really even believe in luck. I don't even think this exists. But in this video, I'm gonna kind of debunk luck, and then I'm gonna show you how you can maximize your luck. Okay, I'm gonna show you how you can essentially take luck out of the equation and become the luckiest man alive. That way you can do all the things you want to do predictably. Because if I had to guess, you haven't started because you're uncertain, because you still believe in luck. Okay, so first let's define the two types of luck that there actually are, at least in my opinion, right? The first kind of luck is the type that you've been told about, okay? This is what your parents talk about. This is what the media talks about. It's called dumb luck, okay? This actually only makes up for 1% of things that actually happen in real life, okay? A lot of people, they'll see celebrities, right? And they'll be like, oh, he got lucky. He got lucky by being famous. They'll classify everything as dumb luck, okay? But what dumb luck really is, or an example that could explain it the best would be winning the lottery. That's pretty much dumb luck, okay? But people categorize everything into dumb luck, which is a huge mistake. And there's honestly an argument to be made that winning the lottery isn't even luck, which is a whole rabbit hole I could go down. That's out of the scope of this video, but for the sake of this video, winning the lottery would be what I would consider to be dumb luck. You can't really control it at all. Okay. Number two, this is what makes up for the other 99% of luck. Okay. And in this video, by the way, luck. I don't really believe in luck, right? But persistent luck. This is what makes up for actually what most of luck is. And I'll give you guys an example, a copywriting example, since that's probably what you watch this channel for. Okay. So let's say you do 1,000 outreaches and it takes 1,000 outreaches to land your first client. Okay. Let's say, you land that client on the 1,000th outreach. What do you think your parents would say? Or people who aren't you would say? They'd be like, wow, you got lucky. That's a 1 in 1,000 opportunity, right? Based on the data, that's a 1 in 1,000 chance. You got lucky by landing that client, right? That's just not true at all. Because what they don't see is the previous 999 attempts that it took to learn how to do outreach, to get better at the skill, to get better at copywriting, right? So you could become the person capable of landing a client so that on that 1,000th outreach, you could land that client, okay? And that's persistent luck. It's essentially you're trying, you're consistently taking action toward a goal until it happens. If I had unlimited money theoretically, which I don't, but I wish I did. If I had unlimited money and I spun a roulette table, until I died pretty much, until I hit the number 10, okay? And eventually I hit the number 10 on my 100,000th try. That's still not luck, because I was not going to leave that table until I hit 10. Okay? So this is what most people get wrong, in my opinion, is they categorize everything as dumb luck, but really what most stuff is persistent luck. And like I said, it's really about 99-to-1 like ratio, in the sense of what that stuff actually is. And so if you guys want to, or how I really looked at this, how do you guys can become lucky is you need to maximize, okay? You need to maximize persistent luck, okay? Because this is the one you can actually control, okay? And which means if it makes up for 99% of everything, you can control like 99% of everything, okay? So how do you maximize persistent luck? Well, there's only two ways you can do it, okay? And let's start with the fact that luck typically comes in the form of opportunities, okay? So if you want to maximize your luck, you need to maximize the output of your opportunities, okay? And there's two ways you can do that, okay? Number one is you can increase the number of opportunities you have, okay? This is super simple. This just means like doing more input. This is saying yes to everything. This is pursuing opportunities that you're too afraid to pursue, right? And I'll give you guys a couple of examples, okay? So I'll use copywriting as an example, as my first example, okay? If you want to just do more, like increase the number of opportunities, you have to do more outreach. You have to do those 1,000 outreaches I was talking about. That's doing more. That'll help you get luckier, okay? You also need to pursue opportunities that you're afraid to pursue, right? If there's an opportunity that will align with your goal and help you with your goal, but you're not pursuing it because you're afraid, you're not maximizing the number of opportunities you have. An example of that would be like posting content, okay? Posting content is only a positive. It's only going to help your journey of copywriting or whatever it is you really want to pursue, right? But if you're too afraid to post content, then you're not maximizing the number of opportunities you have. And third would be to say yes to everything, okay? A good example of this would be like, let's say your goal is to find your wife or your partner, if you're a girl that's watching this, even though I think my audience is like 90-something% men, whatever. Let's say it's to find your husband or wife. That's like the one goal you want to have, okay? If you stay in every Friday night when your friends invite you out and you're not saying yes to every opportunity that comes your way, you're not maximizing the number of opportunities you have, and you're never going to get lucky, right? I'm not saying your wife or husband is at a bar or at a club, maybe they're at a coffee shop or whatever, right? But if you're not going out, if you just stay in all the time and you expect to find your husband or wife, you can see how that doesn't really make sense, okay? So for any goal, you need to constantly be trying to increase the number of opportunities you have. And you can do it by doing those 3 things I just showed you, okay? The second way you can maximize your persistent luck and just become more lucky is by, maximizing preparedness, okay? And the way you do this is actually really simple, okay? But I'll give you an example first. Let's stick with the husband and wife example. If you want to find your partner, okay? Let's say you do this. You're solely focused on increasing the number of opportunities you have. You're going out, you're approaching women, you're doing what you need to be doing, you're not scared, right? But let's say you go up to, a good opportunity comes your way, right? You find a girl you're attracted to, you go up to her, right? If you haven't been doing the work ahead of time, if you're not prepared, if you're a fat loser, no offense, or you don't have confidence, or you're just weird, then you're gonna fumble that opportunity. Like, it doesn't matter how much you increase the number of opportunities you have if you're not prepared for when the opportunity comes. And so a lot of you guys wanna land clients, which is great, and you should focus on that, but you're only focused on this, right? You're just focused on increasing, you're just doing more outreach and stuff, which is great, and you should do that. But let's say you do all the outreach and you land a client. If you haven't been doing the work ahead of time, if you're not writing practice copy consistently, if you're not studying copy, if you're not reading books about copy, then when you actually land that client, you're gonna fumble the opportunity, okay? So it's the combination of these 2 things that actually breeds success. And honestly, what the general public would call luck. Because honestly, the general public are losers. They think all success is just luck. Like if there's a rich entrepreneur, he just got lucky. But anyway, it's literally this simple. If you maximize these two things, you'll maximize your persistent luck, and therefore you can literally do anything you want predictably. Okay? And so I want to like kind of put a bow tie on it by saying this. The best things in my life personally have happened unexpectedly. They like it literally wasn't planned out at all. I'm meeting my mentor was luck, right? That like helped me tremendously. Landing my first client was luck, even though I just kind of proved how it wasn't luck, right? But if I wasn't increasing the number of opportunities I had, like joining coaching programs, joining courses, I would never have found my mentor. If I wasn't prepared for when the time came to when I joined the program or whatever, right, I wouldn't have done anything with it. And I see that all the time. Like I'm a coach inside that program. So people join the program and they haven't done the work ahead of time. Like they still like scroll TikTok and stuff, and they wonder why they're not going to be successful. And it's because like it takes both of these things. Like literally you can chalk up success to these two things. Okay. And so, yeah, luck isn't real in my opinion. If you maximize these two things, you will be the luckiest man alive, right? And you can literally do anything you want. You can change your life in 6 months predictably by just focusing on these two things. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I have one announcement to make. I started a newsletter. Okay, the link is in the description of this video. It's in the bio of my YouTube channel as well. Go subscribe to that. It's completely free. I'm not promoting anything on there. I'm not selling anything. It's literally going to be like the most fun thing ever. I'm just going to tell stories on there that you guys haven't heard on here. I want it to be a very exclusive, like playful, very fun thing. I want my email list to be a very like kind of private and like fun thing where I can get a closer and better relationship with you guys and give you guys tons of sauce and like tips and marketing tips and all that stuff. On there. So go check that out, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, ask me questions on there. I struggled to answer everybody, but like I try to, knock out some each and every day. So keep doing that. You can check out my Twitter. All the socials will be in the description. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found this helpful and somewhat entertaining. And yeah, thank you for watching.